Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Supratik's game against 1Q. AI is basically saying that this was the decisive move, which is it's quite clear because White is basically sorry.
This is Kovalam.
Hello. So Pratik, what are you saying? I can't hear you.
I said I just beamed as I'm driving in Kovalam.
Okay. Okay. I
Just
hope
showing the
you're
video.
not driving. I mean, that would be scary for everyone involved.
I'm not driving. I'm just enjoying the ride.
Okay. Okay. So what I was saying was, in this particular situation, you can see that White has basically allowed themselves to be killed off. I don't think there's any real sequence of moves that gives White two eyes out here. But more importantly than that, what White does is
Fine,
White
then we
makes
can do this.
a mistake. Yeah.
No, if it is okay, then we can take up something else also.
No, I think this is a good starting point. In the meantime, we can wait for others to join as well, and then we can. If Karan's not joining, then I
Yes.
wouldn't mind taking a small session on 4 point Jose keys. That's what I've been spending quite a bit of time on right now.
Let's go ahead.
But with this one move of White, basically White puts itself in an artery that White cannot escape from. I think that's largely what led to the game being lost. But I think the rest of the game is also interesting. If you want, we can just go through it quickly. Double 4 4 points for City. Black approaches, spins up. Black jumps out. This is interesting. I don't know whether this sequence is great without some additional black support out here. I think it
Because the
works.
3 point is not there. I did it because the D10 is not there, na?
Mm-hmm. No, but
See, the
what I was
Joseki
personally
Hane is not there. So that is
maybe capping. Gurmeet, what do you think?
Yeah, in general, like that this J4 stone that generally just leads to a really big influence, and it's pretty hard to actually use it afterwards. Like
My
influence,
main concern is there are a lot of weaknesses out here, right?
yeah,
You can see that White's able to push through quite
yeah.
comfortably in fact. So whatever
In fact, I in general do not like this this jump Joseki like from F3 to F5.
okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, even traditionally, either you could have directly gone into the corner, which is fine. I think that's more of a preference thing. But after this, what does Joseki figure say? I wonder. I think it's a little early to be shoulder hitting this white stone, is what I feel. Yeah, it is saying this is possible. It requires a favorable land that black hits the corner.
so that this your AI gives you all the possibilities.
This is not my AI. This is josekipedia.com. What this does is it mentions all the Joseki. It's quite good for researching Josekis. And what it does, it mentions good moves and bad moves. So it's saying, for example, this is a mistake. This is the right direction. But black needs to have a
Yes,
ladder.
this is a mistake.
I think this is largely what happened in your game. What it's suggesting is rather than pushing out, you should capture. Oh, but what you do is what's the difference in this? Let me follow the game. This happens, then this cut happens. You drop down out here, which basically gives black the corner. Yeah, this is close enough to what happened in the real game. And in the real game, instead of this move, black played this move. Okay. That's a very big corner. That's what I'm thinking.
So what's that site?
Sorry?
What is that site, Joseki?
Josekipedia.com.
The site that you're referring to.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think
please give us a link on this thing in the.
even on OGS,
Okay.
if you go to the Joseki section, onlinego.com, this button out here, this also has these things. I've been using Josekipedia before that, so I'm more used to that more than anything else. I'm sure they should have the same sequence.
So what does the Joseki Wikipedia says in that? Should we jump or
This is
the corner
fine
is
if
better?
you have a favorable ladder. White needs a favorable ladder for this, but I haven't been able to figure out where the ladder is.
This one is a standard Joseki. This is a standard Joseki, and then yes, that's a standard Joseki.
Okay, fine.
That I am following now. So that's exactly what I followed.
Yeah. Sure, okay.
And then I put the bottom because that the other side becomes.
Makes sense. This would be the right time. This is a little slow. I don't see any real value of this because what you're doing is you're saving one stone. I think something like this might actually be better. Building an extension from your wall. Also, this ladder is not. I mean, this
Okay,
ladder currently
I agree with
works.
you.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I understand your point. There's no value. Last
Here,
point.
what we're doing out here is we're basically saving one stone and you're giving white a chance to strengthen it.
Actually, I guess closing the corner for the Q4 corner on the other side would have been a bit better.
Yeah.
A 7 or something, yeah. Because it's already a decently good, like, from both sides you have a good influence there.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's not bad. Or even, just maybe I wouldn't be comfortable playing away from this situation. But in theory, even a different Tenuki might also be something that can be considered. In the game, black defends, white strengthens. Black has to strengthen.
But if you play away, isn't it? And white continues to play in the same area where the fight is going on.
That's basically what happened in the real situation, right? Because this is basically a very weak move. So we can leave this move for now. It's not putting too much. It's not strengthening this too much. What white does is white just it strengthens out here. That's roughly what happened in the game, Rishi. So you can see
So the previous black move. What if you had put the J5 in Atari?
J5. Yeah, this is doable. This seems a little over concentrated, but yeah, this is basically guaranteeing that this is your territory. White can potentially. It's basically a much more local move. There's nothing inherently wrong with this.
Karan, I have to. Sir, I have to leave because I have to
Yeah?
go inside the temple. So thank you for. I have to leave actually. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
No,
I
worries,
have to leave
okay.
actually.
The recording will be there. You can always
I'm
go
going to
through.
Padmanabhan temple. Thank you.
So,
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
so Shashwat, are you saying at this point? I mean, the alternative moves that you considered,
Mhm.
all of them looks like they are either a Tenuki on the top left or trying to make space for black in other places. Are we saying
Yeah,
that
so-
the current space between H and D columns, the white, we're just ceding to the white at this point?
H and D.
Columns H and D.
Yes, we are. We are.
Okay,
You're
so you're
right.
saying that don't get into that fight. You're not going to win anyway. Try and make make space.
Yeah, there's no real way, right? In theory, why black can try to do something out here if black has the strength, but it's unlikely to actually lead to something.
So then
That's my sense.
will
In any case, here's the thing, right? Even if black gets something out here, black will get maybe 5 points, right? I mean, black will make something.
Yeah, this is for sure not the right time to do this.
Yeah, let's assume that black does something like that. Black basically gets like 5 points out here. And if you assume that white lost some territory out here, white might have lost 10, 12 points out here. So this is like 15, 16 points. But as opposed to something like, if black were to just play a move in the corner, black is basically getting 15 points and a lot of chance of getting a lot out here. And this is assuming a lot of things and playing for a lot of fighting. So from the point of view of the bigness of the move or the value that a particular move can have, it's generally better to not do something like this till much later in the game where 15 points will make a difference. Right now, so the way it would work is I would look at the board and say, what is the biggest move I can make? By biggest, I mean, what is the move that will get me the most points? So in this particular situation, I would say that this is a big move because it guarantees, this much in some way or the other. It strengthens this. Even if white has some sort of reduction, it's still giving me like 21 points or something like that. This is a big move because it's giving me a good chunk of the corner, which is again like 20, 25 points.
Given that until this long, it looks like, if I understood right, a Joseki was being played out.
Yes.
Some variant. But if the Joseki was being played out, does that Joseki actually end in white getting a little bit of an upper hand in that space?
Traditionally, Josekis do not end with anyone getting an upper hand. What Joseki normally end up doing is an equitable distribution some way or the other. I would not consider this corner to be definitely white either. I would say that there's a scope for reduction. But having said that, white is definitely stronger out here. But at the same time, black is definitely stronger out here. That's what I would consider the trade-off of this sequence to be. Even though it's not fully Joseki, to a very large extent, it is something like that.
So I guess Joseki is balanced out on the bigger picture of the board rather than just the fight where the fight's going on.
Yes. Josekis generally don't balance out only in the place where the fight is going. In fact, that might be a good time to segue into something else. So let's assume that there's this very standard Joseki, right? I'm sure you guys would know about it. So this is a standard sequence of moves. What basically happens is if there is a player who has a 4-4 point, this is a way for white to do a 3-3 invasion of the 4-4 point. And this is one possibility of what it might end up being. Now, in this particular situation, if you look at it, white has, all of this territory. Black does not have any territory, but black has a lot of influence. I think that's the word that's used for the, the potential or the way that black can use this wall. I mean, this wall gives black the ability or the potential to build a bigger framework. Even something as big as this potentially, or maybe even bigger, depending on what black is able to achieve with that. But it's not guaranteed territory till black plays a couple of moves. Right? So that's what the trade-off is out here actually. The trade-off out here is white is taking guaranteed solid territory, but black is taking influence, which will allow black to maybe attack a white group out here much more easily. Because now black is strong out here, black can play something like this. For example, I mean, that's the trade-off out here. The trade-off is not that they both get equal territory. In some Josekis, the trade-off is Sente, which ends up being quite important. In fact, that's one of my favorites out there. So what generally ends up happening? Sorry. Yeah. So this is, I think, again a very common Joseki. The reason as black I would play this is because I get a move to play somewhere else now. Even though I think from territory point of view, the trade-off is equal. And if black has a smaller base, I would say white is getting a little more territory than black in this sequence. But black gets one free move that they can play somewhere else.
Mhm.
So that's so Joseki are generally not about getting equal amounts of territory, but they are generally about getting equal amounts of something.
Okay.
So we were here where black played this and white strengthened out here, so black had to strengthen. I think this is the sequence, right? So if black had strengthened out here by initially, then white would not have strengthened, white would probably have played away. Which would have been a different game basically. I think this poke was fine, but I think it's weakening these stones a little bit. Yeah, so now black has no choice but to strengthen them and move away a little bit. This I think is again not a very strong move by white. Black defends well, but I mean what white's doing is basically strengthening the black group. Could this have been ignored? This could have been ignored, right? I think it might have been better to just, I don't know, just something like this. Because I think even if white surrounds, white can't really kill because black always has this sequence out here that's going to get enough life, even if white were to do something out here. So I think this is another potential opportunity for black to Tenuki and get some advantage elsewhere. I think this would be a better move because locally this stone is getting a little weaker because of these stones. But I think this is not necessarily the most useful thing. Even here, for example, black just basically says, okay, enough defending out here, I can play away. So I think that's a good thing that black is getting the advantage. Here, I think the cut would make more sense. Because white is strong enough, white is outside. This cut would be much more severe on this black group out here. And I think white played too defensively out here. This was not a good sequence for white. Here the AI is saying black should continue its attack out here. Interesting. Instead, black plays here. Any thought from anyone else? It looks like only I'm the only one talking.
So I can't add much actual value. But one of the questions I have is early on in the game, I found that both black and white were not really attaching. Right? And I find that generally when the slightly higher ranked players play, they tend not to attach. So there's always a sort of a one-hand distance they maintain for a while before they attach. Why is that? So as soon as the black played, in a 9x9 board, right, the tendency is attach. Okay. But in a 19x19 board, it seems to be both sides trying to keep away at least for some time.
So that's good. That's a good question. I think what generally ends up happening is that let's assume that at any point of time, honestly, if white attaches to a black stone like this, white's basically giving black, it's kind of a forcing move. You're telling black, I'm going to attack you. And it's black's turn to respond. So what black will do is black will either extend or black will harm him, right? Or in some way strengthen itself. So now the problem is, now I have one weak stone next to one strong stone. So I've basically given the initiative to my opponent, saying, you know what, by attaching, I'm making you stronger so that I have to, strengthen myself as well. But you're the one who's starting the attack on me. Because you'll always have one stone more than me if you're playing locally. That's generally the logic behind not attaching. I think there's a proverb also related to this, right?
Do not attach.
Gurmeet, do you remember?
Yeah, I was trying to actually remember, but I can't remember the exact proverb. Yeah, but it is generally true that the attachment actually strengthens the opponent.
So this is Go Sensei website. It's very useful for some reason. A
Yeah.
contact play is often not the proper choice of technique. By touching the opponent's stone, you're forcing it to defend and thus get strong. Here it is. Don't attach when attacking. So this is the Go proverb. Don't attach when attacking or attack from a distance.
In fact, in general, like playing closer moves actually strengthens the opponent always more than the further moves. For example, those like peeping the one punch jump is also like you are actually playing pretty close and it actually strengthens the opponent. But that's what you wanted. So if you want to actually just connect, like make him solid, the opponent solid, so that he don't get to sacrifice half part of it, then you do attach. If you want to make the opponent solid, then you do attach.
Yeah. So if, for example, if someone's trying to invade my territory, then I will try to attach.
Exactly.
Okay.
So there is a place to attaching, but not when you are attacking or in the Joseki. Like in the start of the game, you almost never attach.
So sorry. So here I might want to attach just so that white strengthens and gives me more stones. Now it's a bigger loss for white.
Okay. Okay.
Kind of. I don't think it's a very good example, but you're getting the sense of it. The basic sense is you expect your opponent to get stronger when you attach. So if it's in your best interest that the opponent gets stronger in this particular situation, then you might want to.
Stronger in general means like more solid actually. In
Yeah, more
like not
concentrated.
yeah, exactly.
In the same place.
More concentrated, more solid.
Okay. Okay.
This is a very interesting website, right? I was just going through this. It says how to attack. And it'll be fun if we can kind of read this together as well. So the point out here is that there's a black stone. Some distance away, there's a white stone. How do we attack that white stone? So it's basically saying, let's see what happens when we attach, because obviously, I mean, that's the natural instinct. It's giving an example of how real life fights always involve contact and things like that. But it's giving us the same outcome as we saw in the original board as well, which is that white will basically become stronger because black attached.
There's one more thing. When you actually attach, you are actually starting with 3 liberties instead of 4.
Yes.
And anything with 3 or less liberties is always very risky. So yeah. So you're already starting with 3 liberties, and then you're actually like the next move is actually the opponent's, right? Then
And he's
he can
increasing his
actually,
liberties or reducing your liberties by playing
yeah,
A instead of 2.
right.
So what this is suggesting, and this is exactly what your question was also, Rishi.
Right.
What we would end up doing is playing like a 1-space jump away, or maybe even a 2-space jump away. Year 1 or at A, for example. The advantage of doing that is, one, it's still a pressure on this stone. Now the stone needs to do something, because if the stone does nothing, then black will play on the other side. And then white doesn't have a base, white doesn't have eyes, and white's in trouble.
Oh, black would play on the other side, as in behind the white.
Yeah, somewhere like B.
Yeah, around B. Yeah.
Okay.
So then black would force white to play C, and then let's actually show you that, right? Let's go back to the start of this board.
You can also think of it like that in any case, for the opponent to live, he needs to make two eyes, right?
Right.
So, as long as you can surround the opponent in a region where he can't make two eyes, that's enough, right? And like if you actually connect it, he will start running, and like you will be just trying to follow him. On the other hand, it's much easier to surround from a bit of a distance. Are you getting what I'm saying, right? You can actually when you are at a distance, you can actually with less circumference cover more area, basically.
Yeah.
Right, and he'll be just trying to running around, trying to make some eyes in that space. If the surrounded area that you are surrounding is small enough, and if your attack is good enough, then he will make two eyes.
And I suppose.
And the advantage is you're actually accomplishing something else at the same time as well.
Right,
I'm
getting
building a
influence outside.
framework out here of potential territory. I'm not saying territory. I'm saying potential territory out here. Right.
So if white decides, even if black is just coming close, right, and not attaching, if white decides to extend, he's doing it at the cost of growing fast. So it's still sort of okay. Well, he could extend that way, or he could just attach to himself.
So this would be a more logical move for white to do. And the objective, that's okay. The objective that black had in mind by attacking this stone was not to kill it. That's not the correct way to play Go, honestly, is what I feel. I mean, it's still something I'm learning. but the point is that I don't attack to kill. I attack to gain something. So in this particular situation, for example, this would be a standard continuation out here. Where I'm applying some pressure out here. If white does not respond, then white is going to become much weaker in the process.
Right.
Right? But so that's why white needs to respond. And when white responds, black is not bothered about killing this group. Black is more interested in all of this
territory.
Territory that black is making. So even if white does not die, black is not losing out. Black is actually gaining in the process of getting white to live. I don't know why I went back. I think this page must have refreshed. But I think that's largely the thought process that needs to be inculcated from the point of view of what the objective of attacking is. I think this is the page is loaded, right? I think this is going into a very interesting point out here from an exception. This is what Gurmeet was also saying about how in this particular situation, because black has stones out here, black is attaching. Why? Because white will extend and white will get thicker out here. But this is a term that is there is used in Go. Black is making white heavy. From the point of view, white has played a lot of moves out here, so white needs to be committed out here. So now if black plays a follow-up move somewhere here or here, then white has already invested a lot out here, so white will have to continue the fight. And then black can profit a lot.
Web page, or are you pointing somewhere else?
Sorry?
Are you pointing to the web page, or are you pointing somewhere else? Because
I'm at the web page. Can you see my mouse? You can't see my mouse?
I can see your mouse, but your mouse is not moving.
Oh, okay.
So actually, I can't see your mouse cursor. That's interesting.
Then let me move it back to the board. Okay.
That was my mouse cursor.
I couldn't see your cursor. I could just see your web page.
Sure. So I think this is the example that's there in the website. What the website is saying is that in this situation, it makes sense for black to attach, because here black is wanting white to get thicker out here or stronger out here. The term that's used in literature is heavy.
Okay.
What that would mean is that, now white is somewhat committed out here. If black continues its attack like this, then white has to survive, because this is actually worth some, decent amount of points now for white. Which is why black attacked, similar to the example that we saw earlier as well. So this is where we would want to attach. Guys, just give me 1 minute. Gurmeet, I think you can continue talking. Just give me 1 minute and I'll be back.
Yeah. Okay. But I can't actually like use the screen or cursor, so I'll be just explaining. So if you have any
You want to
question, you
present instead?
leave it. It's all right. Yeah, Rishi, if you have any question, you can ask. I'll try to explain. If yeah.
So, given that I'm just starting out and I've played very few games, what would you suggest? This all that you guys are talking about is certainly very valuable to me, because I've played some 19 by 19 games and mostly been on the losing side. But what I have been doing is pretty much after the first 4 moves, I've pretty much been trying to invade the other side.
Yeah, so that is the general like direction of play things and Fuseki things that you need to like get better at then. So basically what you normally want to do is you want to start from the corner, then go to edge, and then go to center, right? Extend towards center. So like you in corners you normally like are playing Josakis, and then you are extending towards edges to actually make territories. So like for example many Josakis, as Sashwat told earlier, ends up in giving a really good influence, like to you or to your opponent, right? So if your opponent got a really good influence, next good move would be just place a particular stone a bit further from his wall so that he can't extend, he can't use his influence well.
Okay.
Right, these kind of things, right? So start from corner and then going to edge, and going to edge in like that itself is like starting from corner is simply like following Josakis, right? So learning why Josakis work, what Joseki is giving to both of the players, and if somebody is not following Joseki, then what is the right punishment? These kind of things would be for the corner part of the game, right? And then going towards edges, those kind of things comes in that these 2 point jump on the third line, right? That's a really good base.
Okay.
Right,
So
the
you're
one
saying
that
starting to learn Josakis would be a good
No,
time investment.
yeah, for sure that will be a good investment, but not a lot of Josakis. Like for a few like a few 4 point Josakis, and like 1 or 2 good normally used Josakis on 4 point and 3 4 point. Like those should be enough. It's just that there are different parts of the game. So it starts with all the corners, some Joseki is getting played, and then shifting towards edges. So how to handle that part of the game? In any case, when you will play a game, you will go through all the parts, right?
Right.
So
Right.
slightly improving all the parts will be better instead of actually working on any single part to a great extent. In any case, you won't be able to utilize that much, right? So like improving your Joseki a bit, improving your like how to use these influence to create good territories on the edges, improving that a bit, that'll be nice. And then trying to learn the art of moving towards the center, right? So you do these 2 point jumps again, and like 1 point jump again and again. Like you must have seen that in a lot of games, that when all the corners and edges are kinda like covered, then people starts jumping towards the center with 1 point jumps, right? And like the opponent is peeping, right? Is peeping on different 1 point jumps and making the opponent heavy, and like these different kinds of like sometimes doing a knight's move to actually get ahead of the opponent, these kind of things, right? these um, these things starts the middle game essentially,
Okay.
right? These things starts the middle game, and like you starts actually like making your territories a bit more certain. Okay, 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 these are the boundaries that I want, for example, right? So in during that particular part you do reductions and invasions, right?
Right.
There'll be really big loosely defined areas which are covered by you or the opponent, right? Then you want to ask questions. Okay, do you really want that particular area as well? And then your opponent will be answering. If he actually backs off, then you reduce. If he actually like tries to surround you, then you have to somehow like get out of it or make a living territory inside his territory. One way or the other, you have to either reduce or the or invade his territory, right? These kind of things are the part of middle game, and once all of these things are finished as well, then finally comes in like fixing the edges of all the groups,
Hmm.
right? And there are things like okay, where I should actually fix the edge first. In a way, there are these kind of concepts that we earlier, like many a times we talk about having sante, right? If we
Right.
play a particular move, if I have sante, then the other, basically that means that the other person has to respond to my move, right? All my moves are forcing in a way that at the end of it, I still have the freedom to play wherever I want, right? Play
Hmm.
wherever I want. That is sante, right? So where do you have sante? These kind of things actually gets really important in the end game, right? It is actually very important throughout the game, but in the end game it's one of the most important idea, right? So these are different parts of the whole play. Okay, it starts with Josakis in the corner and then moving to the center, moving to the edges and then center, and after that you are like trying to make your territories a bit more defined, right? And that's where those invasion and reductions comes in. That is the part of middle game, and then the end game, right? So like try to identify which particular part of the whole play you actually like needs to improve first, and then try to ask appropriate, like try to actually figure out, okay, what are the things that you can learn in that particular area to improve.
Okay. So in of the book repository
Hmm?
is in the we have a book repository, right?
Right.
Uh, is there a particular place that you'd say would be a good place to start?
The if I remember correct, I haven't looked into the book repository that we have, but I do have a set of 5 books, Go books. Um, what was the name? Janice, right? Kim Janice or something, right? Let me actually. You must have heard the name.
Yeah, Janice Kim.
Yeah, Janice Kim. Yeah, Janice Kim learn to play Go. Yeah, 5 book series. Okay, so that might be the best. That might be the best place to actually start. For example, the first book just covers the basics. Okay, a few basics and these kind of things. That kind of things that I was actually telling you. And then the second move is the name of the second book is essentially the way of moving horse, and that is the thing that I was telling you, that 1 point jumps that starts the middle game, right?
Gurmeet,
That is,
at what? Sorry, I'm just interrupting. I mean,
yeah,
when you are talking about Janice Kim's book, I mean,
yeah.
what Q level you are thinking of a person? Because I read Janice Kim's books, and to be honest, I mean, for someone at my level, like 24, 25, I mean, that
Hmm.
was still a little more advanced. So that's
First
what I
book,
mean.
first book should like on the 20, when you are 24, 25, even then, like first book should not be very advanced. First books seemed like very advanced as well.
First book. I tried a little bit initially, and I didn't find it that much. That much useful. There is another different book that
Which
I found to be more to my level of understanding, and that was, I think.
Do we have the book in the repository, Arko? I have the repository open.
Yes, yes. Learn to play Go.
Learn to play Go series, yes.
Yeah.
learn
So
to play.
Master's Guide to Ultimate Game, then The Way of the Moving Horse, The Dragon Style.
Hey, this is
That-
Janus Kim only, right?
That is the
Yeah.
Janus game, no?
Yes,
No,
yes, yes.
I asked him about Janus game. He's telling me about Janus game, right?
No, I'm just talking about Jenny Schema. Right?
Okay, yeah.
There is this elementary Go series book.
Okay.
I'm still going through that one. I like it because it's much more easier to digest for me.
Okay. I haven't looked into that. Do you know about that, Sashot?
I've heard of it. I haven't read
Okay.
the books. I haven't even read Learn to Play Go, honestly.
See, actually, as far as I actually just jumped into Go when I actually started learning. I just jumped into Go. I just played a few games. I started losing really quickly, and then I just like picked this book, Janice Kim Learn to Play Go. And the first part, the fundamentals part, was itself like enough for to cover the basics. Actually, to cover okay, what are the different um, concepts. I'm yeah that we can look into that element. That do you have that? Do we have that book, that elementary?
Yeah, we do.
Uh, if you open, you will find there is a huge repository actually, almost.
Yeah, it's wonderful, honestly.
Yeah,
Elementary
Yeah,
Go.
I-
I think we. I
yeah.
think
I actually opened it, but there, as you say yourself, like there were just too many books.
I know, I know.
directly from Elementary Go.
Yeah. So can you open that, Sashot? Can you open that elementary?
Oh, I just opened Learn to Play
series,
Go. Okay, I'll open Elementary Go.
Yeah.
This is
I
by.
think my computer's slowing down a little.
Yeah, this is by this guy Ikuro Ishigure, right?
Uh,
Some Japanese guy, right?
some Japanese guy. I'm not 100% sure about his name. I have to open it. I have.
Yeah, I have the first one open. I think it's that guy. Elementary Go series.
Yeah, like with the Janice Kim series, that was a bit of a problem because that is like she is using mainly all the Korean terms, right? And Japanese terms are actually in more common use. So
Janice Kim book is. I'm not saying that Janice Kim book is not good. It's definitely good. Only thing is, from where I am coming, that one seemed a little bit advanced. So
can you try to elaborate? Like,
They're roughly the same rank. I think Rishi might be a little weaker than you. Rishi's been more recently since you started learning, right?
can you try to elaborate, like in the Janice Kim book, why it seemed a bit advanced?
see,
Let's
I
actually go through the book.
opened
Right?
almost
Let's check out chapter
couple of
1.
months back. So
Okay. No,
I
it's
don't
alright.
remember. If you suddenly ask, I tried to read and I didn't like it that much. It's kind of an instinct. It could be like this book is better because, at end of the day, what happens is like what book makes you comfortable, right?
Right. No, I was just trying to understand what are the like if I actually recommend the book to somebody else, that I should know that okay, what others actually find a problem with the book, right?
No.
So I
There
just
is no
wanted
problem
to
with the book. That is the point. There is no problem with the book. It's like someone has a preference for a bit of different kind of writing or different kind of reading
Right.
style. So from that perspective, that elementary book suited me better. And
Nice. Okay.
maybe Learn to Play Go. I would like it after a little more time. So because it happens, right? I remember when sometimes some kind of books. What I started as a basic book. After probably 1 year, 6 months down the line, I preferred a different book. So it happens.
And where can I open the description in the like desktop version of the Telegram? Do you know? Like, okay, can you just share the
I can't
link?
open the description, the desktop version. That's very annoying for me as well.
Yeah, because I'm like that link is in the description, right?
Oh, I just you want me to put this on the chat?
I'm
Yeah,
posting.
can
it.
you
Yeah.
can you just put it in the
Oh,
chat?
there is a view group info. So I mean, if you want to look at link, okay. So here is something in the Go group. If you have it open on the on your desktop, so at the top corner you have these three dots.
Mhm.
Right.
So go to the three dots, then there will be like a view group info. Click that, and you will have that drop down and all the description and everything.
I don't see view group info.
Me too. I can't see that.
I am.
We might not have the same version then, I guess. Or are you using Windows version or Ubuntu version?
I downloaded it from Microsoft Store. So
Yeah, it's Windows, no? Yeah, I am using Ubuntu right now.
okay.
It
So
might,
that might be
yeah,
the
yeah.
issue then.
Right. There might be some small differences between the two versions.
Might be.
Okay, Elementary Go series.
It looks a bit different. Okay,
Oh,
you
this
have
is-
a.
Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, the ordering of different concepts is very different from Janiscam.
Mm.
I can clearly say, like, yeah. Have you, Shashwat, have you seen the Janiscam box?
I have not.
You have not. You
I
have just
haven't.
looked into the Janiscam first book, right?
Yeah.
You can actually
That's
clearly see
because,
the.
the table of contents seemed very
Yeah.
starting from the fundamentals.
Yeah. So.
I don't know how much in depth because her third chapter is connecting and cutting.
Like
So
basically,
that's
she does not actually put too much stress on, for example, Josakis, right?
Mhm.
Like overall, when you're talking about fundamentals, like making sure that like making sure that you have good understanding of different parts of the game, and then how to actually, like yeah,
Yeah, I
how
think
to
from
use,
that shape, direction of play,
right,
those things are going for connecting,
exactly,
cutting.
right.
I think let's do this. Let me go through these books.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can try to simplify it and have a lecture for like 20K in week or something like that. Gurmeet, you can also pick up elementary. And we can,
Yeah,
tackle it, I think.
yeah, that'll be good.
Okay.
Gurmeet, what is your rank right now?
On OGS, I have the rank 3K right now, but I really do not think that I'm 3K. I haven't played much in last 1.5 1 year almost. So
Yeah, Gurmeet probably
yeah.
around 1 now.
So I mean,
One too low, I guess.
no, I mean,
Too low.
see, I look at rating two ways. Okay, one is like where you currently stand, and the second one is based on your understanding and reading capabilities of the game, what your
Yeah.
ranking is. So,
Okay.
from that second perspective, like what is your understanding and reading capability? Where do you rate yourself?
Mm-hmm. That's a very difficult question, I guess.
No, I mean, so then that is what I mean. That can be some kind of your understanding, right? Because I'm probably playing a lot of games and say I'm
See,
at
at
23 and 24,
I
but
guess I guess Shashwat can actually sympathize with me, but like at this level, we actually start dividing our skills into a lot of different components. Are we good at land game? Are we good at middle game? Are we good at Josakis? Are we good at invasions? Are we good at reduction? So on, and all of those parts are like very heavily like these varies from person to person a lot. Okay, so the aggregate is also very non-trivial, right? Sarshwat might be really good at a few of those parts, and I might be very good at others. And now all like what matters is whether I can actually like pull off a really good Fusaki in which my skills shines, and I can actually make him not use his skills.
And
no,
that's
I
actually why we're able to help review each other's games. Right?
Exactly.
If I just sit down and look at Suprathiv's game, he's defeated me more times than I've defeated him.
Right.
But even
So,
then, my insight will be useful for him because I think I'm better at direction of play than him. He's
for
better at
example,
receiving
I
and
can
finding.
I can clear. I do know that I am really good at doing sumegos, and the reason is that that Sumego Pro app, right? That app which
Hmm.
suggests 6 Sumegos, right? That is my routine. That I do that every morning, like since I started playing. Right, either that particular app or some other Sumego site or something. So all those Sumegos of that particular app I have almost like memorized by now. Like, so those I have seen those so many times that I do know all like those well.
No,
Really? Oh,
saying that, Gurmeet, the main reason was, I mean, for example, if you say like you are at I mean, if you say like after so many days you are at level 8K or 9K, let's say, or 10K,
Hmm.
then probably you will find that Janice Scheme book to be of much more use than the elementary book, because the elementary book is really, I mean, to my understanding, elementary book is really for people below 17 or 18K. I mean,
hmm.
above 17 or 18K, like 20, 21, because you see like how they are showing like 3x4, 3x4 placement and those kind of areas. That is very basic. So you
Right.
may not find that book useful.
See, actually, I picked up Janiskim when I started learning Go. Okay,
Okay.
so I'm actually telling from those days that yeah, Janiskim actually helped me. But the difference was that I actually lost around 20 or 30 games before jumping to any book at all.
Okay.
Right, I was playing it, I was just enjoying it too much, and then I realized that okay, I might need good resources to actually yeah, improve my concepts, and then I guess I will I will be able to finally level up, right? So I would try to find some book, and I realized that first part of Janus game actually resonated with me so much because in first 20 games I could see what things I was doing wrong. That I was actually trying to kill things way too much than what I should have, for example, right? And Janiskim was not focusing on like Janiskim was actually focusing on the real fundamentals, the fundamentals that you should actually start from, right? So I realized okay, these are the things that I learned by losing. I could have simply picked up Janiskim first book, and I would have actually realized it from reading that. So like first book was a kind of like half of the first book was kind of a really quick overview. I just realized that okay, I should have actually picked it a bit earlier, and then remaining books were helping me throughout.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
I have a question. One more question. I mean, if you this black to play group, so there is no way to save your progress or
You can log in. I just opened this randomly. I know it's a good website. I was going to recommend it to Gurmeet.
Hmm.
If
What's it
you
called?
Yeah,
get an account,
I have actually looked into this website as well, Black to Play.
I
That's
used to
nice.
have.
Black to
I have. Oh, I what I do this. I have a shortcut on my phone for this app for this. So
Oh,
it stores
nice.
my progress. Basically. I don't know whether there's any way to log in or not. I think there
Okay.
might be.
because I mean, because I use that
No.
the Sumego Pro app, and that is quite good.
Hmm.
I'm actually planning to get the paid version, which will have more
The paid
subscription.
version is worth it. I have it. I'm a very big fan.
Hmm.
Yeah, because this one's, I mean, I don't know at what level I'm doing right now, but some of these seem like okay, not really that difficult.
Hmm. See,
I
um,
think Sumego Pro, the only downside that I have is difficulty is not very consistent.
Yeah, that is true.
yeah.
Oh, by the
So
way,
in
Rishikesh
any case,
also, how would you solve this one?
This is black to play.
Yeah.
hmm.
Okay.
What is the, I mean, what is going to be the objective here, to save that inner black group,
Optimal local group.
or kill the above white group?
In general, the goal is always optimal move. That
So-
might
so-
change a bit from problem to problem, but in this particular, it will save those 2 stones.
So my first instinct is to say D3, and of course white can simply take
D3.
D3 and extend away.
I probably would play c3 because d3, even if white plays in d3, you can cut it off at d2.
Rishi, do you see it?
Yeah, say again. If you would play C2, C3 because
Because then black
you can
has
cut
to
that
play
off.
D3.
Because
and even
d2,
then
d2 you can cut it off.
Okay.
No, capture.
Sorry, yeah, capture, not cut.
Okay.
Oh, was that correct?
Yeah, it was correct.
Okay.
What about this? This is a very standard shape.
Yeah.
This is a
So
two-white
ideally, if you look at this, you should know where to play.
I guess we should actually talk to Prabhat and try to list down the things that like list down what are the different kind of skills that one can try to learn to get better. For example, these life and death shapes, right? These life and death shapes of all small sizes, like 5. For example, this is like really common shape for with the 5 point array, right?
25.
Yeah, yeah. So like these kind of like this is one of the skills that anybody around I guess 14k onwards needs to know, right? I guess 12 13 12 12 13k onwards.
Every rank needs to know this, honestly.
Hmm?
This comes up in 9 trust 9 games. This comes up for 25 queues. This comes up for like 6
Yeah.
queues.
Yeah,
So you
like
know-
yeah, everybody needs to know this. Like everybody needs to know, or basically, when I'm saying needs to know this, basically I mean that all these shapes, like from 3 space shape to 7, like 6 space shapes, that list of all those life and death shapes, right? Once you have actually checked that particular box, then
I think
you can
that's how
just
Chochitun starts his uh, Sumego encyclopedia as well, right? He starts with going through all of those shapes.
wait.
And there are a couple of other sequences, right? The L shape and things like that.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
good session in itself, key shapes
right.
or key things. So that's a very interesting thing. I you know what, me personally, L+2 group, it's supposed to be always aligned. Okay, for context, let me actually create a board and show you what we're talking about. I know we're jumping from topic to topic. I hope that's fine, Rishi, Arko.
Fine with me. It's more about sharing ideas, exchanging ideas.
It's just that my laptop's incredibly slow today.
Yeah.
So this is a no. What am I doing? Sorry. Oh, that was correct, right?
Which particular shape you want to?
This is something that we end up seeing a lot in the corner. This is
Right.
unconditional. Anyway, but
Yeah.
this will come to later. I think the shapes that Gurmeet wanted us to start with are more fundamental shapes.
Right, right. Like when exactly these shapes when they come in the when they actually appear at the corner, then all of them have really weird subtleties. Okay, like so even like bent four, right? The 4 spaces in the L shape. Even that, when it actually appears in corner, that is actually a bit more tricky than when it appears in the center. Yeah. Like
Anyway, so let's take this group out here. The E2 group, the one that I'm marking with a triangle. Is it dead or alive?
Whose turn is it to play?
Does it matter?
If it's black's turn, then it's alive.
exactly.
Can you guys still see the stones?
No.
No,
It went away.
My screen just.
no. There is another branch which actually appeared for some reason.
Let me refresh
Empty
it.
branch.
No, I think it create. Did I create a separate one?
You
It's my
I think it
computer.
refreshed somehow.
It's very annoying. I think I have too many Chrome tabs open. I think
you can open the link that I sent. That killing shapes that on the sensei side.
So Gurmeet, Rishikesh, what I would suggest is, I mean, Shashwat has seen it. I mean, so once we have time, go through the repository and see some of the books stored there and also the videos. I
Mm-hmm.
downloaded some Baduk TV videos with subtitles and posted those. So
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually that's what I was thinking. I was thinking to actually organize like a bit more organized um, repository, like where there are a few like videos for different parts of the, like for example some good videos for the influence related understanding.
Gurmeet, you have to check out the repository first. Argo's done a very good job organizing it and everything.
Yeah,
Nice.
actually, the repository is well organized in terms of the books, as in the titles
Yeah,
are
yeah.
together and so on. But
Yeah.
I think the main problem is for somebody. I mean, if you just, it's more right now. It's more like a library.
yeah.
Right. See,
Anything you want.
yeah.
See, what is
basically-
required is to categorize it by ranking, and that I can't do. I mean, I'm not at that skill set level. So Gurmeet or Rishikesh or whoever, I mean, if someone of you have the time, then if you can filter it out by 30 to 20k, then 20 to 10k, 10 and above, and like that, then that would be really useful.
Yeah, that's what I was actually saying. That for like actually, if you think in the terms of ranking, right, then it's not very easy to actually list down what are the things that you need to do. For example, these Josakis. I can surely say that my Josaki's understanding is way worse than many 9Qs.
No, but
Okay.
Gurmeet, we can still do a better job of the
Right.
ranking,
No,
right?
no,
We
that's
can take the introductory books. We can mark them as introduction to Go books.
One
Wait,
other
no. That's not what I'm saying. Basically, what I was saying is arranging things based on different features of, like not different features, like different parts of the game, so to say, right? Arranging things according to different parts of the games would be better than actually arranging them by rank, and then separately trying to figure out, okay, for different ranks, what are the what are the different skills that you should have a good understanding of. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Okay, so for example, like Sumegos, then shapes, then
Exactly.
so it
Right.
is there are these are categories that way. Like for example, life and death problems. There are some books. Then you have these Joseki Fuseki books. Then you have
Right.
these shapes books. Then go Sumego books.
Yeah,
So that it is there. Shape ups, Tesujis, end games.
right.
What
Yeah.
is not there yet is like I mean, at what level which book should be taken.
Mm-hmm.
There is a
Okay.
very good Google Doc about this, Let me try to find it and share it with you. This
Okay,
guy's written
that-
every rank, what book makes sense and what it teaches. It's very, very
Yeah.
detailed.
Yes, I think you shared the link sometime back. Was that from who was that guy? Steve? I don't remember his name, but you showed it sometime back, I think.
Really? Okay. Then let me find it again.
Then
No,
it
I'm not
should be
saying
in the link.
shared. I'm saying you showed, and so
Okay, showed in a meeting or something.
I think the first meeting, I think.
Okay.
Oh,
One thought I had was we could try to make these Sunday meetings something that says if we can come out of every Sunday meeting with just one takeaway. And I'm going to say one takeaway for the weaker players for above 25Q, mainly because that's where I am, right?
Yeah. Actually,
that would be really useful. It would actually feel like I'm making progress, right? Right now, there's so much information I'm consuming. I'm pretty sure I'm not using it when I'm actually playing.
right.
When I'm
Look,
playing, I'm going back to just doing things by instinct.
I have a suggestion. Do you think it'll make sense for, say, you and Argo to play a game right now?
Sure,
Maybe that way we can, Gurmeet and I can just see one takeaway come in.
Yeah,
Come from them.
I can go another 30 minutes.
And that can be something that both of you can, maybe that can be one takeaway. If we can just find one thing that's maybe a common error or, some direction to move towards.
Right.
And just stay there. Not go further than that.
Yeah, that can be done.
Okay, so I think you guys can challenge each other. And if one of you can share your screen, that will be quite useful then.
Rishikesh, can you send me a game request? My user ID is my name dot surname.
Yeah, I already have you in my.
So, so these two will be playing, and we'll be doing what exactly?
We'll be watching the game and then we'll go through it and see after the game's done. See, maybe we'll try to give one or two key points. Not like what Rishi is basically saying is that it ends up being a much bigger data dump, all of this.
Right. So instead, what we can try to do is instead, like you two can actually play the game, and instead of actually like basically we can actually hint or like guide you a bit. Like for example, if for example when you were actually playing that particular exercise where you had to make a living group in the middle of the board, right? So I guided you, okay, instead of actually trying to play the normal go, try to make just shapes, just think of shapes, right? That was a general guidance, right? We can try to guide you a bit, very like vague kind of like general guidance throughout the game, so that you can actually try to pick, okay, during which part of the game what are the different things that you normally focus on, right? You can just play a game and we can actually try to see that, okay, what like where you should actually focus a bit more on.
Okay.
Okay.
Should I just make this a live game or a correspondence game?
I guess correspondence, like we don't want to like care about time right now.
Okay, I just sent the challenge.
In the meantime, could we just look at the link that I've sent you as well?
Right, okay. I'm looking.
Okay, I heard someone saying challenge received. Okay, Sunday meet Rishi, yeah.
Game started.
Can somebody share the screen?
Either share the screen or just share the link, preferably the screen.
Sharing the screen. Can you see it?
Not yet. You need to present it.
Hold on.
Oh shoots, that is a really good link. Really good doc.
It has everything in detail.
Right.
It mentions what ranks should use what book also.
Yeah, nice.
And if you write ending, he does it by rank.
It's very weird that, okay, so in my case, I learned or whatever I know from video lectures only and playing Go essentially, like just by the fun of it essentially, right?
Yeah, same here. But I'm realizing that there are gaps because of that.
Right, exactly. I haven't touched any other books other than the Janus Game series. So I need to fix my knowledge of, for example, Josakis, and like I have to practice these invasions and reduction, these kind of things. Many other things, of course.
Okay. For some
Anyway,
reason,
yeah,
it doesn't
we can't
allow
see
you
us.
to share. It says can't share your screen.
That's fine. Just share the link in the chat. I'll share my screen.
Okay. Let me go there.
There is some option for like disabling the.
I shared the I think that is the game.
Maybe
Just
that's
try.
an issue in this, right? Maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, I think Arghya has shared the link.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Rishi, you have to play. I think the next because I got a.
Yeah.
So, like the kind of thing that I was suggesting, that we can guide you a bit, and then you can try to think and play, right? Like that is something that like these when we are actually learning programming, then the seniors do. This is known as pair programming.
Actually, I have a better idea.
Uh-huh.
Just let me know whether that works. So, for example, before playing something, we'll say this is what we think we are going to play. Then you can tell us whether that works.
Hey, by the way, guys, whenever I play, it just keeps moving my game board to another game. Is there any way I can make that stop?
Oh, okay. You.
It's a correspondence game.
You have multiple games open. That's why.
So I have multiple
Yeah.
correspondence games.
I don't know how to stop that, honestly.
Yeah, me too. I am
very
pretty irritated by that actually.
It's never been an issue for me.
So that is something
I don't like
really
that.
new. So I am planning to do Q4 because I'll be spreading the games.
Uh-huh.
So my question is, why did Rishi go for P15, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 5 by 5 rather than 3 by 3? Any specific reason?
I think it was
Just for the
Rishi.
fun of it.
Huh?
Why I did
Just
that
for the fun of it. Like, yeah, like Joseki is like, for example, I would like even at our stage, like we sometimes play really weird Josekis or Fusakis, because overall, like if you pull it off correctly, then that works. There are no really bad, like this is P14 is not very bad move. You can pull it off,
No,
but it is
I'm not
essentially.
saying it's a bad move. I'm saying like, I
No,
mean,
it's not considered a good move, honestly, right?
Yeah, it is not considered like. Then again, like third move is not considered good. Cousin actually played two third moves. Like these, like
So 3
just for the
move
fun
is
of
standard Fuseki. 5-5 is not a Fuseki. 5-5
3-3?
has the problem is 5-5 is too influential. It takes 0 territory.
Right.
And if you really want to do that, 4-4 makes more sense.
So why do you say
Right.
5-5 does not take territory though?
What are you
it's too
targeting
high.
in 5-5?
The territory that will go vertical 5 and horizontal 5.
No, that
And
is
what happens if black plays at P17 or Q17 or R17 or R16
think-
or R15?
But if you had played 4-4 also, right, black could still get into your territory.
Correct. So 4-4 is an influential move. 3-3 is a. So here's the thing, right? Okay, this is actually a term. The third line is called the line of territory. The fourth line is called the line of influence. What that means is if I'm playing on the fourth line, I'm going for influence. By influence, I'm basically mean targeting the center in some way. The fifth line is also technically influence because anything after 4 would be influence, but it's too influential. It's so influential that it's hard to
make use of it.
live in certain situations with the right attacks.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So
Because
if you are
it doesn't
actually
have any
playing,
price of itself. But having said that, I don't think at our rank also we can concretely punish a 5-5.
Right. Like for example, basically, if at our rank somebody plays 5-5, what is going to happen is that the opponent will get a territory like in the corner, and whosoever played the 5-5 will actually get some kind of a wall, and then he'll try to use that influence. The overall problem there is that you could have just played the 4-4 point, and then the opponent and then I would have, let's say, played a 3-3 point and got the territory. Right, you still would have gained that wall, that influence wall that you wanted. It's just that I got a smaller territory.
So because you played 4-5-5, I am getting more territory in the corner, and you're getting the same.
Exactly same thing. You're getting exactly the same thing, like basically a wall, and to actually extend further. But I am actually a bit more like I have a bigger territory now.
Okay. So you're saying 4-4 don't play beyond 4-4.
There are certain cases where you will play 4-5 or 3-5, but 5-5 is
Generally bad.
It doesn't keep the corner. It's equivalent to playing anywhere in the center.
What about
From
on a 9x9 board though?
Then
9x9
it's
is 10 game.
then it's best.
5-5 is fine on a 9x9.
So the reason I would have played a 5-5 is because I play a lot of 9x9 games,
Mm.
and to me that's like a logical starting point there.
Yeah. On 9x9, like this is the best move.
And then 9x9, it comes at the center point, right?
Yeah, it is the center point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the 5-5 is the center point on 9x9, right?
Yeah.
So it sort of
Instinct.
it sort of shows intent right from there to say I'm going to take over this left, this portion or that portion.
Then the first thing that you should start doing is play more 19x19 games. That is the
No,
first.
yeah,
By the way, I've been playing my
you
19
should
by
start
19
by
games like
playing
this.
10 out here now. I mean, I think
Like
5-5
tangent.
is too-
Tangent.
No, I could have logically started there, but even when that for me seems like, hey, this is a C and I'm in the middle of it.
Yeah. Obviously.
5-5 still seems like, yeah, corner is important, but hey, I've still got my chunk of 5-5 behind.
No, like with 5-5, they like you're not getting any tire, you're not getting any base. It's pure influence. So if you actually are focused on influence, right? Then you would play high stone like 4-4 or 4-5 or something. If 5-5 is still just too influential. But like these moves are for the influence only. When you are actually thinking about territory and playing high stone, that is not the right direction.
Okay, so I'll heed that advice and
Okay, I'm going to play a D14 here. Any comment on that?
D4.
D,
D14.
delta, D as in delta 14.
Okay.
so
What is your objective with Delta 14? I mean, what are you trying to go for?
I am trying to kind of block him from coming down below.
Okay.
So like 14, 13, 12. So I want to prevent him from coming this side.
Okay. That's technically what it's doing. So generally what happens is you play this at C14 or something like that. Reason being, then you're achieving two things. One is you're saying, I'll take the corner. And two, at the same time, you're saying, I won't let you take the side. With D14, you are accomplishing, I won't let you take the side to some extent. But it's not a dual purpose move.
Okay, C14, one of the reason with C14 I avoided was with C14 you are very clear with your intent. With D14 you can kind of hide it. That was my thinking. I mean, I'm not how accurate that is.
Okay. Hide it in what way?
Hide it. I mean, like when you are doing you are doing a C14, you are actually making your both of your intent very clear that I want to take the corner and I am also trying to prevent you from coming down, right? But if I am playing at D, so then I'm not telling him anything about my intent with the corner. So I have him guessing, okay, I can take the corner or I can simply try to prevent him. Is that possible?
No.
Because that's what
So
my thinking.
here's the thing. D14 will not help you take the corner.
Because I mean now I have a D14, so my next play could be a C12 horse, or could be a E12 horse, a short horse. Then in the next play I can again go for a longer, I don't remember what is the term, but three straight line and large horse. Yeah, the large horse.
Large knight.
Yeah, large knight. Horse. I don't know. For some reason, I always end up calling it horse. The short knight and the large.
Yeah. Okay, what do you think, Rishi?
Okay, so I'm thinking either. Well, we just talked about not attaching. I was so tempted to just say C14 and attach. But if I had to play territory, then I would say I'm thinking about, say, B15.
D15. So what? D15?
B, B, B.
B15.
B for Bombay.
Okay.
Beta 15.
Yeah, like in general with the Josakis, you'll see this pattern that when the opponent approaches from one side, you go to the other. Okay, so the idea is that currently board is so open, then that if the opponent wants to come from one side, you can just let him have that. You can just go to the other side and try to start developing something over there,
So you're saying on the 5-5 side.
like something
Yes.
around GF
15
something
within the
around those.
15 to 19 rank, and yeah, 15 to 19 rows. But
Okay.
it's also, but Rishi's Rishi's thought process also shows that he's not afraid for a fight.
Yeah, in that case, you should instead pincer. Like, if you want to fight, then you normally pincer.
So pincer will be which move? Where will you put it? Like
Pincer
C15
will
or
pincer will
D4?
what pincer basically means is you're saying I'm going to surround you.
So
Okay.
something like D12.
Right, those
Yeah.
around that. Yeah,
P12, C12.
D.
yeah. DC12. Yeah,
Oh, D or C12. Okay.
yeah.
So, but if I were to play B14,
Mm-hmm.
right, do I have a shot at keeping the left corner? Because there is an additional.
P14, the shot at keeping the left corner.
Like the idea is that okay, if you do actually play B14 or B15,
B14.
you earlier B14.
Oh, sorry, B15, B15, yeah.
Right. Yeah, if you actually play the things like B15, right, then the thing
Yeah,
is that
Yeah, I'm saying you're basically saying I think I'll keep the corner, you can keep the side. That's the trade-off you're going for if you're playing B15.
Yeah. So if he plays B15, then essentially from 13 and down and up to H, I guess he's just letting me have it.
Kind of. I mean, honestly, you haven't asked for it that strongly. You said, "Yeah, I would like this if you could be so kind." And he's also, being quite polite. Yeah, I'm feeling generous today. Of course you can. See, again, no. I don't want you to get the wrong impression. I'm not saying that you guys are playing bad moves or loose moves because of that. I'm saying that that's generally what Joseki means. What Joseki means is you're having a conversation about, what your styles of playing are and what you would want to keep. Specifically, the reason I was saying it like that was because the 5-5 move is not making not the 5, sorry, the 4-6 move is not making a very strong claim towards anything. But
4-6 means is that D14 you are talking about,
yes,
right?
D14. It's not making a strong claim towards anything. It's not saying I really want the corner. It's also not saying I really want the side. Because it's on the higher side. So it's basically more of an influential move. Like I told you at the starting, if you're playing on the 4th line, you're playing a move that is more influential than territorial. And if you're playing on the 3rd line, you're playing a move that's more territorial than influential. And if you're playing an influential move, what it basically means is you're not saying that I want the corner. Which is fine. You're saying that I want the center.
Okay.
But with that in mind, that's what I'm saying. And if White is defending with B15 or something like that, White is also leaving enough space in the center for someone, in the corner for someone to, in theory, come and take it. But White is saying in some passive way that, you know what, I care more about the corner right now. I am going to spend one move defending.
Like basically with the B15, you are not even claiming corner properly. So you are saying that I want corner. That is true. But then again, the opponent can play D18 kind of moves. where he'll be threatening your side or the corner, then you have to make a choice and then like yeah.
And honestly, that's the way the game is played. I don't know of many people who play a purely territorial game that I want the corner and nothing else. Generally, you end up playing something that's a trade-off somewhere or the other. To give you an example, if you really want the corner, you will play something like C17.
Okay.
Uh-huh. C17.
Honestly, C17. You're just gonna say, this is my corner. I am really not interested in giving it up. This is my corner. I'm gonna keep it. That's what C17 says.
Okay.
Screw you. This is my corner, and it's not going anywhere.
But aren't you taking a smaller corner if you
Exactly. That's the trade-off. So the point is, I will get the corner. I will guarantee get the corner. But then I'm getting a smaller corner, and all of my moves are in the same area. So I'm not really getting any strength anywhere else.
Only challenge could be if you make a small mistake with very small corner space, then you may actually end up losing that corner too.
It's going to be difficult to lose. I mean, yes, you're right, but it's quite difficult to lose a corner after playing 2 or 3 moves with the 3-3 point available to you as well.
Okay.
But if you were to take a 3-3, I mean, if you were to take that 3-3 spot anywhere, that corner would be really small, right? At best, it's going to be 4 points.
Not really. There is scope for the corner to grow because that's just one turn at the end of the day. Because you have a 3-3 stone, you have a 4-4 stone. If you play your next move at like F17 or G17, you can.
Oh, okay. So when you say corner, you're just saying, okay, for this move, I'm going to indicate I'm going there, but I could just expand it as well.
Yeah, of course. You can always expand it. By corner, I'm saying this is where I'm planting my flags.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that I'll only keep the corner and be satisfied. Of course not.
Okay, so where are you playing, Rishi?
So Rishi, which one did you play? B15?
He was thinking of playing.
I've not yet played. So I was going to play B15, but this conversation makes me feel that my B15 is accomplishing nothing. So
no, actually, you know what? I would say probably, I mean, go with the feeling that we have, but
okay.
But also keep in mind what they are saying, because in that case, because if we are going by our own way of playing, then we would end up playing bad and losing.
Actually, I was overall thinking that we try to put in our thoughts a bit less.
Yeah.
Like trying to just guide very generally, and you guys play on your own, right?
So what we would say, for example, is it's always better to go for corner, then side, then center.
Right, these kind of things. For example, that would have been fine for like for example when you said that B15, right? I told that okay, in generally what happens is when the opponent comes from one side, you go to the other side, right? One thing can be done is that you can try to think why, right? You can just try to think why on your own later on. But yeah, in almost all the Josakis, like in a really large number of Josakis, you will find this pattern. That you'll try to think, okay, why this is actually better than the move that you thought. Right? We can try to guide a bit in general, okay, and then you can actually go ahead with further thinking, so on. Right.
Okay. So my thinking is I'll go for a short knight at C12 because I'm trying to cover this 1 to E14 up to E14 area. So I'm planning to go for C12. What do you think?
What are you trying to do? You're trying to keep the side.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, what I'm trying to do is, from this starting from this d14 and this d4, I would try to create a contiguous line till capturing the corner and the side. So right now I'm just building these knights so that as much as I can expand into this region.
Okay.
That, yes, Ashok, you were saying something.
I was saying, I think what you're saying makes sense. What you're trying to do is basically you're trying to strengthen your side and use the support of the stones that you have in the bottom left corner as well.
Right. Yeah. So there are a few things that okay. See, if you actually want to actually go to the side, you have already played the move, right? So it's let me actually tell you one thing that he was actually trying to like fix like say that I want the territory, right? Zeshi was trying to say that I want the territory, right? So if you could have actually attached at something like b14, right? At the next move, you could have very severely like damaged the b15 stone, right? And you could have like
B14 is C14, you mean?
b14, like
b14. So
But
just
B14
next.
doesn't attach, right?
b14 to your b15 stone.
Oh, you're saying B14 to my B15. You're saying the next move.
Instead of
No,
this,
the one that I played at c12 instead of c12.
so basically, then Rishi would have need to like strengthen his b15 a bit, and then you would have actually got a better better claim on the side. You get a
Okay, so right now Rishi can move into this B13 or C13, those areas.
in general like in general actually in these kind of situations. In any case, I guess we can continue. Yeah, right now.
Yeah, Jimmy, I think that's a little too technical.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Rishi, what do you want to play now?
So in these situations, right, I generally don't like to play on the B column, right? As in extending here, because I somehow have this feeling that if you're only one column away from the edge of the board, you're slightly weaker. It's just instinctive, right? So
it is true, yes. But that's only if you're under threat. Right now, you're not under threat.
That is only under, but you can be placed under threat, right? So let's say I were to play now a B13, right? He could easily play C13 and that's it. That stone's a little under pressure.
Okay, let's just move a bit further from the board and try to. Okay, see, right now there is a one really big problem with both of you, that the general direction of play is a bit weak. Right?
By that, what Gurmeet basically means is, since you guys are both coming from a background of playing a lot of 9x9 moves,
Right.
in 9x9, what ends up happening is that if I play a move somewhere, generally the next move will be played in the same area because of
Exactly.
Yeah.
In a big board like 19x19, there's a lot more places to play.
Exactly.
Similar to what we were discussing in Supratik's game, right?
Right.
Rather than playing a local move out there, we can Tenuki somewhere else. And Rishi asked a very good question as to why we would do that. Right. So let's see whether we can utilize.
Yeah. So for now, this is first most important like guidance for you going forward, right? In the in this from the very start, try to think about the whole board. Okay, try to think about the whole board a bit. For example, try to think: do you really have to respond to his C12 stone? If you don't, is there a better position where you can play now on the whole board? Somewhere else.
Proverb related to this. It's called urgent before big.
Yeah.
So what that means is you look at the board and you see, is there any urgent move I need to play?
Right. If there is not, then
is there something that I need to play right now? Is my group dying? Or is there something that is necessary to make sure that I don't lose a lot of points or something like that? If that is not there, then I look for what is a big move that can be played on the board. So big move would be something that potentially gets me territory, or increases my framework or things like that.
So there is no real urgency to protect my stones right now.
Correct. So now,
So
see,
I'm tempted to
B13,
do a
the
K16
evaluating.
or a Q10.
Uh-huh.
K16 over Q10. I mean, I'd say both are okay, but I'd prefer K16 because that keeps my stones sort of in shape.
Okay. Okay.
I was thinking you are going to play Q13 or something like that.
Q13.
Q.
Okay.
Yeah, some kind of closure. Like, no.
Sure. I think all three are reasonable moves. That's not really an issue. But you see what we're talking about, right? Compare
Right.
that move to something like B13. I'm sure B13 is not a bad move in itself, or any move in that area. It's not a bad move in itself. It's just that it's not urgent because
Yeah.
B15 and B16 stones are fine.
So this
And
is
it's
the
also
first.
not big.
Yeah. So this is the first important learning, I guess, right? Just try. Yeah. Like the focus is normally very local. No, like when you are a beginner, right? Try to actually focus on. Actually focus on the whole board, right? As Sashwat said, if there is no urgency, then try to go for the bigger move, right? Okay. Try to keep that in mind because that will be relevant for quite a few moves for now.
I think that's actually a good takeaway. Just keep that in mind and keep playing now. Just
Right.
think, this is what I feel is urgent. This is what I feel is big. Since
See-
there is nothing urgent, I will play big. Just let's
See,
use that
this is
language.
yeah.
Next
See,
question.
this is the kind of like guidance that I was actually hoping for. That okay, like some kind of general like big guidances.
Okay, so I already had a pre-planned thought, and that was D10. Basically, trying to get a strong influence over this the right bottom side of the board and the side. So, what are your thoughts? I mean, I have
Which
not
move
played
is
it.
it, Shardu?
D10, D as in Delta 10.
Daytime. Okay, so there are.
Is it big? Is it urgent? Question one.
Yeah, exactly the last learning that we learned, right? Urgent then big, right?
Mm-hmm. No, it's not urgent.
And
Is it
then
big?
Big in the sense, what do you mean by big?
Attempt to get the most points. That's what I mean by big.
My plan is I want to, as I was saying, like I want to
Take the entire left-hand side.
block off between like A13, E13 to E1, A1. You know, this square. I want to block it off, square it off from his from Rishi. So that is why
Okay,
I'm just trying to.
So let's go through that discussion, Arthur. Let's assume that you're able to block it off by playing one move at D10. Okay, what that means is if there is a gap of 5 points between two stones, you're considering that to be blocked off? Because there is a gap between D10 and D4, right? Of 5 moves, 5 empty spaces. Now let's look at K4.
K4. Okay, yeah.
Wouldn't that be bigger than D10?
Yes, it will be.
Right? Again, I'm not saying. See, again, I don't think D10 is going to give you the entire corner. Just like K4 will not give you the entire corner, but it is making a claim to the corner, which is good enough. Honestly, that's what you do at the starting. Make claims to corners, and your opponent contests those claims at a later stage.
So
The point is, from a big move point of view, a K4 claim is bigger than a D10 claim.
yeah. So this will be a sub learning in the same section, urgent then big, right? That normally in what?
So that means in the initial stages of the game, it is not that critical to have some stone that is a one jump away or a knight's move away that is somewhere close to your existing stone. It's more important to try and build a stake.
Depends, Rishi. Depends. If it is urgent, I will have to play close by. If I'm making an urgent move, it'll have to be one move, one jump, or one knight's move away.
For example, the whole Josakis, right?
Okay.
Whole Josakis, those are normally very close by moves. No, right? Because normally Josakis are the set of moves where those are urgent moves. If you or the opponent don't play the right move, then there is a really good punishment, right?
Okay.
There's an urgency there, and that's why that's a Josaki.
Okay, so for example, if Rishi played at say C13 or say like C14, then I have to play a short knight's move or try to
Yeah,
suppose
You are an
around him.
extension. Correct.
yeah, exactly.
But
That
still
is the
looking at-
urgent move, right?
If that is a Joseki, right? I mean, for all we
That's
know.
an urgent move. Forget about Joseki. Joseki is not that important. Joseki is a sequence of urgent moves.
Okay.
Exactly.
It's
Just think of
urgent.
Joseki as the sequence of urgent moves,
Okay.
right?
Okay, so Joseki is local play. So
Hmm.
so when we are talking about this local play, so it essentially means that we actually try to play a series of urgent moves, or it can include like what Shashwat suggested, like K4. That can also be part of Joseki.
Yes. Yes. It's
So
generally
both,
urgent followed by big moves as well.
K4.
Okay.
Yeah. Like normally Josakis end with these kind of K4 like moves.
Hmm.
Hey guys, I have to leave in about 5 minutes. It's 6:10. A little over.
Okay,
Uh,
Rishi, let me since I'll follow the suggestion. I'll go with a K4, and then probably we can continue this game.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Okay. I mean, sure. That's perfectly fine. Honestly, if you have some time now, Rishi, if you can play like, I would say we can actually stop the game after 15 more moves or something like that. Just keep urgent then big in your mind and play a series of moves, and we won't have that much conversation. Let's see how much difference that makes our direction of play point of view.
Right.
Okay.
Because I think it's a good time to spend a little more time on this lesson before moving forward. Yeah. Alko, what are you thinking now?
Um. Okay, finally. Actually, I lost Rishi's list of games. Okay, now I found it. Okay, so Rishi has blocked what I was going to play at Q10. I was thinking about going there, and obviously I don't want to get into a fight right now.
Okay.
So how about K8?
K8. Okay, what are you trying to do?
I'm trying to keep the option open to block off the lower quadrant.
Okay. So this is time for one more good learning. It's again a very simple thing. It's called corner, side, center.
I'm sorry, corner, side, center. Which one? What?
No, that's the philosophy. We discussed one philosophy where urgent is more important than big. Correct? Now we're discussing another philosophy where corner is more important than side, and side is more important than center.
Okay. Priorities. I mean, in the
Yes,
in the
from a
list.
prioritization point of view, this is more like, how do I decide which big move is bigger? If it's a big move that's taking a piece of the corner, it's generally going to be bigger than a big move taking a piece of a side, which is generally going to be bigger than a big move taking a piece of the center.
Okay.
Rishi, you might remember this is exactly what I was telling earlier as well, right?
Yeah. Actually, this session is really good. I'm actually getting something to take away from it.
Yeah, exactly.
So like these two three learnings, right? This is like these learnings that you will be using again and again throughout.
Yeah, honestly, these two takeaways are enough to get you till the middle game. You don't need anything more than that.
So suppose I was playing with a handicap. So one of my games, I'm playing with a handicap against somebody, and I have like a big handicap. He's given me a 9-stone handicap.
Okay.
So the star points are already taken.
Correct.
By me. I'm playing black. In
Correct.
that case, I'm sort of already played the big framework.
Yes.
Right.
But like we just discussed, the 4/4 move does not mean that you have the corner.
But the big framework kind of things, initial ones are done, and I can focus on trying to take over the corner.
Correct.
be fair?
You will
Over
still have big moves.
Right.
You will not have big framework moves. So big move might be okay. This is not enough to make sure the corner is mine. Let me play one more move there.
Okay.
In fact, that's what I would. I mean, I don't know how much I should say, but that's what I would suggest Argo to do right now.
I actually do not like very high handicaps like 7, 8, 9 kind of handicaps, because those actually very quickly, like from the very start, gets into the fight, and there is not much learning for the beginner in these.
Okay.
Okay, so my idea is to play at R6.
R6. Okay. What are you trying to do with that?
I'm trying to again cover a square of this the right bottom side of the corner.
Okay. So that makes more sense. Now you're playing a move that's closer. What you're basically saying is, you know what, I want the corner. I'm going to strengthen my Q4 stone. Till now, it was the only, flag that I had in that area. I recognize that corner is more important than sided center. So I will solidify my corner before going into the center.
Okay.
Right? So that's the conversation that you're having with your opponent by playing a move like R6.
Okay. Actually, today's session has been really good. It's being recorded, right?
It is being recorded, yes.
Yes. So this would be fantastic to have as a beginner's lesson or something.
I think I am personally feeling it's all over the place, but I'm glad that it's helping you guys.
No, that's okay. I mean, but
We can try to make this particular idea a bit more refined, like the kind of like this guided play kind of an idea. We need to like guide a bit more focused and a bit less.
Yeah.
And
Maybe next session you let us make the mistakes.
like we need to learn as well, right, how to do this kind of guided plays. So we are learning as well. We are learning how to explain and teach.
Actually, these guided lessons are actually a kind of a good advice. We can actually create a series out of that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
There were some band players who could do it for us also.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm thinking at this point R16 because now I also wish I had placed it at 4-4 instead of 5-5. I'm thinking because then in that case that corner would have been stronger. But now I'm thinking R16 primarily to say I want to build that corner.
Okay.
Okay, now I realized what happens. Essentially, Rishi had to play one extra move to strengthen the corner, right?
Yeah.
So if I had played 3-3, then I'm saying I don't need any more moves to keep the corner. If I'm playing 4-4, I do need one move to keep the corner. If Rishi plays R16, that's also not actually enough. Karan, what do you say?
Do you know about enclosure patterns?
Enclosure? No.
So
I don't know about enclosure patterns.
How a corner looks if you want to make it secure. So if you had played a 3-4, then a small knight's move would secure that corner. It would give you about 10 to 12 points. If you play a 4-4, you would need 2 more moves to secure the corner, and that will give you about 20 points. There's no real way to secure a 5-5.
Right. With the 4-4, you need that knight's move on one side and diagonal on the other. That is the 20 point corner.
Yeah, so the remaining move that black needs to do is P3. So if black does a P3, that is a secure corner.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and that's about 20 points.
That is a learning for a very late stage for them. Like both of those are like not at the right level for that right now.
And that's more of a 20 Q thing.
Yeah, that's more like 15-20 Q. That's correct. So you guys will get that. Next class.
So instead of R16, would Q16 be just as good or just as bad? Because R16 seems to be like a 3-4 point. And
I think both are equivalent. I don't see any inherent advantage of one or the other. Right?
Just remember that 3-3 is always a threat.
Now here is the confusion. I mean, I feel like going for a O3, and I'm torn between O3 and N4.
So what is the point I just mentioned? That is corner enclosure.
No, but wait. More importantly, is there something bigger?
Capture not urgent, but bigger in the sense like strengthening my my hold over the right bottom side corner. So from that perspective, O3
So
and
Does it need that much strengthening? Like there's no white approaching it, for example, right?
Acha, the next way to see what point is urgent is to imagine that if white had a free move, would any of your groups become weaker? So
Oh yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Huh. That's another way of understanding how urgent would get. Okay.
okay,
So
so
let's say white had
one risk could be, for example, if I don't play at O3 or O3, then Rishi can place a stone somewhere around R3.
no.
Or
So that is not making your group
Okay.
weak. Your
Sure,
group
but is
is
that
strong.
Rishi's biggest move?
Can he threaten to kill any of your groups? Reducing chalega. That's tit for tat. He reduces something, you reduce something. But can he potentially kill something?
no, I don't think so.
Okay. What is the weakest part of the board according to you right now? For you?
For me, D4 is sitting alone.
Okay. Okay.
So D4 needs something from either C6 or E3.
Okay.
And here is so either of these two, C6 or E3. Which one should I go for?
Which is bigger?
Bigger would be, I guess, E3 here.
Why?
Because this could be a potential link between the corner at the bottom, and also there is something at the J4. So this would, the influence on this side will be bigger than with that.
So let's just think about that right now. Is E3, so if I compare E3 and K4, sorry, D4 and K4 versus D4 and C12, in my opinion, C12 is further away. Right? I mean, obviously it's further away. It's not my opinion. It's like 2 squares further away.
Yeah.
So play on a larger side.
So isn't that a bigger side? I mean, that's what I was actually trying to go for. Even bigger from a side point of view than O3.
No. I was not going to play on O3. I was saying
E3. He was saying
sorry,
E3.
sorry, not E3, F3 or
C3, C6.
yeah, C6, F3 or C6.
No, again, the same logic applies. What I'm saying is C6 is basically saying I want the left hand side. Correct? F3 is basically saying I want the niche wala side, the lower side.
Okay.
Now, which side is bigger? The left side is bigger right now, right? I mean, there's obviously more space right now. I'm not saying it's going to become yours.
So
I'm saying
bigger.
there's more space.
I mean, bigger in the sense like there is more empty space. You mean?
There is more empty space, so playing a stone out there will give you more points.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Then
I mean, I'm trying to claim points on the board. If I claim points on the board in a more empty place, I'm claiming more points on the board.
Okay, yeah. So in that case, it would be C6.
So yeah, sometimes C6, C7, C8, C9. All 4 of these have some advantage. Even D6, D7, D8, D9, honestly. Anywhere in that area is probably where I would consider one of the bigger parts of the board as it is right now.
Okay, so then I'm probably going with C7.
Okay.
Okay, so
And you apply the same logic, Rishi?
if I do, I'm also looking at corner before side. So I'll probably play something on the between around f17 to h17, probably g17. Right.
G17. Okay. Yeah, that is the biggest part of the board that's there.
But if I were to do f17, it will be a little bit more of the corner than the g17.
So
Yes.
there's one more thing that you can actually think about, that when you are actually going in, like when the corners are finished, right? Then you either enclose your corner or you approach, right? That is what like Karan was talking about as well.
Okay.
Right, so you can either try to think, okay, you have this d16 stone and you want to like play a stone just next, like something to enclose the corner. For example, this like for now I guess f17 or something.
Yeah,
Or you can
could be closer
you can
cornering off that area.
yeah, or you can try to approach the like opponent's corners. Right now there are these, like for example you can try to play f2, the f3, sorry, f3 kind of moves. Or
So basically, what Gurmeet is saying is what we discussed earlier, which is that the 4/4 point is not keeping the corner. Just like you had to play something like R16, right? Make sure that you kept your corner. Argo hasn't played something like that. He played something like C7, but that's a little further away than you can say is definitely securing the corner.
so again, like thinking about the learning that Sashwat earlier told, right? Corner, then edges, then center, right? Try to understand that a bit more in a bit more depth. Okay, how do you do the centers? You like centers normally go normally are settled by some kind of Joseki. And then how do you go towards the edge? You try to either either approach or enclose, right? And then extend. And Sashwat?
You were saying
No, I was not saying anything. Continue.
Okay, yeah. So like try to actually analyze the games from those point of views a bit more, right? Corner, then edge, then center, right? So like right now it seems like that these edges part of the game is actually getting played. You can either try to enclose your corners or you can try to approach the opponent corners.
So you were saying if I were to approach, you're saying something like c3, right?
C3, yeah, this is invasion. Yeah, that is in because 4/4 stone does not ensure the territory on its own, right?
What
So
is
yeah,
the-
you can actually play C3, but I don't know if it's the right move for now.
Oh, I thought you suggested that.
C3, no, I was like approaching the corner like F3 or something.
So again, so what I would say is F7.
Corner then edge, right? Corner then edge.
I feel are all playable right now. F17, F3, B2, C3.
B2, okay.
D2 is the standard invasion point, right? You either get the corner or the side.
What D? Oh, okay. D2. I heard D2. No, yeah. D2 is a really good invasion part.
D2,
Right.
but isn't
D2,
it just
yeah.
close to the edge? It's a 2.
Yeah. It's basically the purpose is that in the next move you either go to the C3 or you go to like something like F3, depending on where your opponent plays. Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
I-
it's like inverting the order of moves again.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so both of our players are still 20Ks. I don't think things like D2 should.
Yeah, that's not a good move for them now. Yeah.
So
In any case, this is
I
actually
recommend-
also related to the Tewari analysis, right? That the kind of thing that Karan was telling you about, right? That think what's the good move for the opponent at that time. right? So for this 4-4 point with this with this large knight extension, that d2 would have actually enclosed the corner pretty well for the black.
I would say let both of them make 10 moves each. Then we can rewind and review the 10 moves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so both of
Karan, you mentioned something. I mean, the moment you logged in, something. How does the shape look, or something you were asking, right?
He's
Yeah,
talking about how many stones it needs to take the corner.
Yeah. Enclosure shapes.
Yeah.
So it's
and-
called a corner enclosure.
Yeah,
I will
enclosure
post
shape.
that link after you do your 10 moves.
so
Till
Rishi,
then
is
we
it?
can chat about something else.
Yeah, I've played.
Okay.
I like this game. This is a very peaceful, Japanese influenced.
I thought you were teaching us how to fight civilized rather than just go at it from the headbutt right from the beginning.
That's actually what we're doing. So
Yeah.
so this is
Yeah,
actually
civilized
how
fighting.
they play as a style or as a cultural thing. They play very, very, framework centered games and things like that. So, just building, okay, I want this. Okay, you keep it, I'll play something else. And, you basically trade the entire corners and sides like that before making the approach moves.
Right.
Modern
reminds-
styles, China and Korean styles as well, especially Korean styles, things get aggressive very, very fast.
China started it.
China started, yeah.
Yeah, China started it with Chinese opening. Literally, Chinese opening is is intended for intended for the fight, right?
Yeah. Which is actually why IGS has much more peaceful games compared to Fox.
Yeah.
Because IGS is much more Japan influenced, and
Yeah.
Fox is a Chinese server.
Now we are actually getting into the fanboy zoning, but like they started talking about Chochi-kun's games like Stone Buddha and stuff. Like there's
But yeah.
in this kind of play, this Japanese style kind of play that Sashar was talking about, like calm and like if the opponent is asking, okay, can I have this, and then you are just saying, yeah, sure, you have this, I'll just have the other side, like these kind of things. Like Chochi-kun is considered to be the legend in that kind of playing.
And honestly, that's what we've been doing out here, right? We haven't been fighting. We haven't been, doing anything except seeing, okay, this is the biggest part of the board. Sure, I'll play that. This is the biggest part. Okay, I'll play that.
Paris tournament next weekend. Arya has already signed up. Anybody else?
6:32. I really got to go in another couple of minutes.
Okay,
Alright.
sure. I think we can wrap up now, then, or do you want to play the 10 moves? I don't think we'll have time to review them. That's fine.
Yeah, we don't have time to play. Yeah.
So
I think
let's
Rishi
wrap
and
this up.
I can probably play it over this weekend and then
Sure.
review it later. I think
Yeah, that
might
will be good.
Yeah.
Think of it like this. Okay, so just keep these learnings in your mind, right?
Mhm.
And try to see if you can actually utilize them well.
I actually just
Though
made.
these-
Yeah. Sorry, please go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying that though these learnings was more like opening centric, like the start of the game centric, than the remaining part of the game that you will gonna have. But still, it's all right.
No, but that is still. I mean, that was useful. I mean, for me so far, it had been just by reading some of the books and also simply by that I told you about that elementary book and reading through what are the common normal basically ideas. So these are actually something that I had no idea.
So what I've done right now is I've just opened a random game that's going on right now on OGS. I wanted 2 human beings and as strong as possible. So I just went to the game type. There's someone called A. Davies playing against someone called Cook. Let's just look at
one
their
thing.
opening.
Like reading is supposed to be supplementary to playing. So you can only make your temperament and reading skills by playing live games.
Yes.
So that's the most important thing. Reading is all supplementary to it. That will help you understand what you're doing.
So, Karan, you're saying live games over correspondence?
Any type of games or reading and such.
Basically, play games more than like play games. Try to figure out what are the weaknesses and then read about it. That will be more beneficial than
It's in games greater than reading.
yeah.
50% playing games, 50% reading and doing some ego.
Reading and Sumegos, all of that is supplement essentially.
Yeah.
So why I selected one game like this is I just want to see whether we can look at the direction of play by just looking at their moves. Okay. So here they played 4 standard corners because corners greater than side is greater than center. Next move out here is you can see black is like, I want the corner. Okay, because white played a 4-4 stone.
So yeah, and that is like approaching the corner, right?
Because black is saying, we've taken a little bit of the corner. I want this corner as well because corner is important. They could have traditionally played maybe an enclosure or an extension or something like that to move towards the side. But that's more of a preference thing more than anything else.
And why would you say black played the 3-4 and the 4-3 points?
Because he was slightly more territorial, which can be seen by this move as well. 3-4 instead of 4-4 means that I want a little bit more of the corner because I care more about territory rather than influence.
Okay.
Which is kind of also in sync with black playing this move because black is saying, you wanted 4-4, so let me take your corner.
And why not a mirror, 3-4-3-4? So he could have done a R16 and then a C16 as well, right?
I'm honestly not at a strength to be able to answer that question.
Okay.
Karan, Gurmeet?
Again, it's personal preference. Territorial people will play 3-3 and 3-4s. Influence will play 4-4s and 4-6 and 3-6 and stuff like that.
But which direction the 3-4 faces, I'm not really sure how much.
That would be around D15 for white. You mean for black?
Yeah, the black, there are 2 3-4s facing different directions, right? So it's asking what's the advantage, where should they face?
So normally black wants to face his own direction. So he would be playing something like D15. Black would then
I think it's
white.
a preference.
Yeah.
Now white is saying, okay, black, you wanted the corner, that's fine. I'm going to take the outside part of it. So white is eventually going to go for this side. They've left this incomplete for now because white said, you know what? I think let me play somewhere else because this piece is also important. You'll see higher level players just jumping around a little bit. You can ignore that. You can look at the sequence locally from that point of view. Then black says, okay, I played a 3-4 stone, so I want the corner. I'm going to continue to keep the corner. White says, that's fine. But in exchange, I'm going to get the side, which you can see by now. Okay. This is what would be a Joseki. Black is saying, I want the corner. White is saying, I want the side. Then black says, okay, I'm going to keep the second corner as well because I've gotten a free move. White is saying, okay, it wasn't exactly a free move. There was a move that I had not played at that time in the corner. I'm going to go back to this corner. And then we see a sequence of moves out here.
So here, black is trying to negate white's wall. So white is facing towards the right part of the board, and black says, I'll do the same. If you try to do something, I'll negate your influence.
So what black has basically done is, so what white has basically done is white has pressured black to be a little lower. And white has said, okay, I'll keep the left hand side. And black says, that's fine, I'll keep the right hand side.
This is Joseki.
This is a more complex version of the Joseki. But you can see that they're still looking at corners before they're looking at side, before they're looking at center.
So the black in the bottom right, isn't there the white on the row 2? Isn't it really susceptible to being taken?
Which one's these?
The P2 to R2.
Not really, right? Because what will end up happening is that, this O2 stone will die first.
Okay.
What you have to do is you have to count liberties out here. You know that this group has 3 liberties. This group has only 1 liberty. So obviously the 1 liberty group is going to die first.
Okay.
So white's not bothered about this. Nothing's going to happen to this.
Okay.
But I think that's largely it. I don't want to go into the rest of the thing. Just from the point of view of the first few moves, about how they're dividing the board.
Last move was f4, so you can see that white is trying to build influence on the left center of the board.
Now, eventually, black comes up and says, "You know what? That's too much. I can't give you so much. Also, you've asked for enough." And then a fight starts. But yeah. Anyway, now then it gets complicated. Then it gets into other things.
All right, guys, I'm getting pulled out.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's it for this session. Thanks a lot, everyone.
thanks a lot, guys.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Shashwat. It was really useful.
Chalo, bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
I guess this particular way of guided play was really good. Like
Yeah, we should try that next
Yeah.
episode.
Absolutely.
we need to we need to improve in it a bit, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
but at least those a few guidances turns out to be really nice.
I'll play at least 100 more 19 games before the tournament.
What?
Play a lot of games before the tournament starts. Next weekend, right?
Yeah. So how many are playing in that Paris tournament now?
I think about 200 that registered, but mostly they registered last minute.
No. I mean among from us.
Only you and me.
Okay. All right. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks
Yeah.
a lot, everyone.
Thanks everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.